Making 5 figures a month is an identity shift. And most people think that their income is a reflection of their external work, of their external circumstances. Hold on, I don't think I'm very close to my microphone here. But actually, the truth is that our manifestations and our external reality is a reflection of our internal system, is a reflection of our identity. People think that the external comes first and then you come second, that the external reality impacts us, but we impact our external reality. So we're going to go over some identity shifts that we are going to need to be making, some shadows that we're going to need to be revealing in order to make those extra income jumps, and those manifestations are gonna come so easily once you make these identity shifts. So I'm going to be revealing to you today all of the things that you have probably been blinded to, or you're allowing the world to distract you from, and these are the things that the 1% of manifestors actually know about. So strap in, because it's going to be a good video. Number 1 then, who you are. I've got them written down here, so if you see me looking at my notes, who you are is what you attract. As I just said, who you are is who you will become. There's a constant cycle of who you are and what you believe in impacting your actions, and your actions therefore impacting your reality. And this circle will continue until it is broken. So it starts with your brain, your beliefs, your self-concept, right? This is what impacts your actions, and then your actions are what creates your reality. Whereas, again, as I said, most people will think that their reality needs to change first, and then their internal reality will begin to shift second. For example, they might think that they will change when their reality changes. For example, they will get confident when their business starts to get taken off the ground. But the truth is that no business will get taken off the ground unless you're a confident business owner, unless you show up to the world confidently with your product, with your services. People will sense that through your energy, that you're not confident, that you don't have, they can see the lack of confidence in the product, in yourself. People can sense that, and your business isn't going to take off if people are going to be sensing this kind of distrust there, like this kind of uneasiness, and they're going to begin to sort of question, is this product actually for me, if that person doesn't even believe in it? And if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to believe in your product either. So people think that they will then change when their reality changes. Another example is, for example, I'll start waking up at 6 a.m. when I have my business. I'll start acting like the business owner, looking after myself and living the lavish lifestyle when my business is taken off the ground. Instead of realizing that if you want to go to the gym at 6 a.m. or you want to wake up at 6 a.m. Guys, I don't even wake up at 6 a.m. I'm not saying that you have to wake up at 6 a.m. to become successful like all of these people on YouTube, but there is truth in it because it shows your self-discipline, okay? So if you want to wake up at 7 a.m. and that's your goal, start doing that now, because you are the person that will create that reality. It starts with you, it starts with within. Your habits are the things that are going to create your reality. It's not your reality that creates your internal confidence. If you're waking up at 10 a.m., wishing that you could wake up at 8 a.m., then how are you ever going to create a business when you haven't got the self-discipline to even wake up a couple of hours before? How are you going to have the self-discipline to do your taxes at the end of the year when you can't even wake yourself up, right? This is why it starts with the things that you do behind the scenes as well. And again, I'll go into that later on in the next point. But your confidence will start growing when you actually start showing up for yourself. And when you start showing up for yourself, you can then pour into a business. You can then show up to a business. And that is when your money manifestations will start occurring. So another example is I'll have a higher frequency and more confidence when I hit 10k months. So again, going back to the confidence things, you won't hit 10k months if you don't have the confidence to build a business that does 10k months. I'll have a higher frequency and I'll be happier when I have a successful business. Guys, we know that fulfillment doesn't come from like external validational like cars and materialistic objects, right? We know that success is an external validation, but fulfillment is what comes from within. We create the fulfillment with ourselves, and then the fulfillment will create the success. It's kind of like you cannot attract abundance unless you have an abundance mindset. Unless you have an abundance mindset, you have a lack mindset. So how can you attract abundance when you're in lack? They're polarizing opposites. You have to feel confident first. Then you might start waking up at 6 a.m. Then you might start having the self-discipline to work on your business for a couple of hours a day. Then you will start feeling the high frequency and the confidence when you start earning the money and you start becoming the person that actually has that business. And then when you hit 10k months, you will have only hit 10k months because of the person that you have actually become, because of the person that created that business. Does that make sense? So now realize that you need to identity shift into the person that you want to become, because the person that you want to become is going to be the person that creates the reality that you want to live. Okay, the second point here is that your habits create your life. Kind of going off the last point here, but you create your habits. So here's the important thing. Your identity is the identity that creates the habits in the first place. And your habits create your life. So you need to ask yourself right now, what habits are creating your reality today? What are you doing that you know is creating your reality? Where is your self-discipline creating or contributing towards a lack reality? But you know you could be doing more in that area, because when you start doing more in that area, it overflows into other areas. When you start doing shadow work, it overflows into all areas of your life. You're going to start cutting out people. You're going to start realizing the toxic family members for what they really were. And that's just a byproduct of you becoming a better person and a higher frequency person. And then obviously you become a better manifester, but you become a better manifester and a better person through the inner work, through the shadow work, and then everything else is just the byproduct. It's this whole self-development journey, and as soon as you start living on this high frequency where you create habits in your life, where you create the dream life, you'll start realizing where other people, like, it will highlight in red where other people weren't aligned with that reality, where the things that were bringing down your vibration before, and it will just literally stand out so much. Like with me, for instance, recently I since doing all of the shadow work and the self-development journey, I've been going so hard on it this year. Now I've started to see friends and even family members, I can see their shadows as well. I see where they are impacting their reality. I start seeing where their confidence is actually impacted. I start seeing where they project onto other people and lower other people's frequency, and the other people don't even realize that their frequency is being impacted, and they don't even realize that the other person's projecting on them. And I can see this now. It's like I've got a whole like a prescription glasses, and I can just see through them now, and I'm like, whoa, I can see the world so differently. And like, this is what's gonna happen when you do the shadow work, the self-development work, to actually step into this person that creates this reality for you, and everyone else is gonna be able to feel the shift. So an example of the habits would be How self-disciplined are you? Are you the person that starts the gym in January and by March you're like, well, I don't need to go to the gym, like I'm actually just gonna start feeling confident in myself, I don't need to go there, and you know what I mean? And there, right there and then, is your shadow speaking to you already. The excuses that align with the old version of you from last year that are keeping you in the old reality, because we have this, like, you know, the rubber band theory, right, where the more you stretch it, you've got like the comfort zone, right? Your comfort zone is like the old or current version of you that's comfortable at waking up when you do, comfortable going to the familiar places being not the gym. But this comfort blanket where you know you're comfortable and you know it's familiar, you know how to work this particular thing, you know how to make your way around this particular store. And then when the rubber band starts to stretch, there's all this discomfort and you're like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. And the gym amongst all these other habits that you wish you could do, like waking up early in the morning, is all in this band of discomfort here. So your band is stretching, and if you can get past the discomfort, sit in the discomfort and listen to what comes up in your brain, the excuses that are coming up, you projecting onto other people, the negative feelings it starts to bring up, the lack of self-confidence. This is the band here where you're going to actually expand. Not only your confidence, but your consciousness. You're going to expand on a physical level, on a spiritual level. And again, it pours into all areas of your life. But you have to sit in the discomfort to actually realize where you've been lacking before, where the limiting beliefs have been there all along, but you've never gave them chance to come up. How are you ever going to know and be able to do shadow work when you don't even know the shadows you need to work on? When you don't even know that you need shadow work because you've been living so comfortably. Think about it now. Do you go to the same 3 places and see the same 3 people every day? Do you go to the same shop down the road? Do you go to the same workplace or working office space? Do you see your mum and your dad and your partner and then maybe that one friend, right? Where is the discomfort? Where is the growth in your life? Where are you ever going to see your shadows if you're hanging around with people that are covering your shadows and reflecting you? Because everyone you are is you pushed out. Everyone you hang around with is you pushed out. So those people are comfortable to you because they keep you safe. They make you feel good about yourself. You need people that are going to challenge and grow you and reveal where you need to grow because you can't see that yourself. It's like a blind spot. So where are you disciplined, right? How far are you stretching your rubber band? And are you the kind of person that starts to stretch it in like the new year going to the gym? And then you just physically cannot handle the discomfort anymore, and you allow the excuses, your shadows, to pull you right back in again. You quit doing all of those new things. So many people I know right now, I'm going to call you out if you're watching this video, but you know, people that decide that they don't want to drive, but they've tried driving lessons and they felt really uncomfortable taking the driving lessons. Maybe they felt a bit incapable. And then they decide that actually they just don't want to drive. Like they've come up with this reason or this excuse of, I just don't need to drive. Like it's just, driving is not for me. But really it's because they couldn't handle the discomfort when their rubber band was stretching in an uncomfortable situation, doing something that they know they need to grow in and develop in, but they just couldn't handle it anymore. So they stretched down here, and then they have the excuses behind them, which might be valid excuses to their brain, but they don't realize that it's just they're protecting their confidence because they can't handle the lack of like not knowing something and not being good at something. When we all aren't good at something, and it's great when we're not good at something because it means we can then learn and develop and teach ourselves, and then we feel so good at the end of it. But you don't let yourself get to the end of it because you can't handle the discomfort. It means you're not letting your rubber band stretch. Even just going for a walk around the block in your gym gear could be you stretching your rubber band a little bit, or you going to a different store instead of the same store that you go to will allow you to sit in that discomfort a little bit, listen to your thoughts, listen to the limiting beliefs and the self-talk and all these things that are coming up, listen to them, write them down, and then work on them. Allow your rubber band to stretch, get in the discomfort, and then you can stretch it more and more and more and more. And before you know it, you're just this completely different, expanded person with this next level confidence, because they know they can achieve anything, and therefore they know they can manifest anything. And they can sit back, relax, and let the world provide. The universe will just bend down and provide. That's the kind of person that becomes charismatic and magnetizing to not only manifestations, but also to other people and events. And they're the kind of people that get whatever the hell they want in their lives, right? That's who we want to become. So, another thing is, do you follow your passions? Do you follow your hobbies? Or again, do you let yourself fall into that trap of, oh, I'm not good enough in this area, I'll never get anywhere in this area, and therefore you put off doing those hobbies, doing those passions, right? There's so many people that I know, like even family members, I'm thinking of them now, where like they were so good at things when they were younger. Like for instance, my mum, she used to paint murals all over my furniture when I was a baby. I still remember the Winnie the Pooh wardrobe that she made me, and I remember being like, whoa, she's so good. And she'd always be the person to write on your birthday card, like you'll write your name in bubble writing with flowers and everything. And I used to look forward to the cards every year. But then she went into nursing like 30 years ago, right? And I'm not 30 yet, but I remember she stopped doing all of this like artistic stuff when I was a kid, probably because she had 3 kids to look after. And then I keep saying to her now, I'm like, why don't you get back into art? Like, I remember how good you are. And the way she just blanks it out, like as if I haven't said anything. And she'll either just like not reply or she'll literally just be like, yeah. And she'll just carry on watching the TV. And I'm like, I can see her blanking this out. I can see her brain pushing it away because she feels like she can't do it anymore, or she's maybe lost her mojo in the area, or she can't be an artist whilst also being a nurse. Like I can just see her brain pushing it out. Like it doesn't even hear me. It doesn't even see me. It doesn't go in. It just straight past. And there's so many of these people, like maybe you can think of your family members where you know they were so good at something, they were known for something when they were younger, and then they just, when they were older, they just stopped doing it for no reason, and like they let their career take away from them. These are the habits that they fell into. These are the traps that they let themselves fall into, and they've never pulled themselves back out again. So something here again is who you are behind the scenes is who you are to the world. What habits, what dirty, bad habits are you doing that only you know that you do? You know you've got them, right? Those are the habits that reveal how you slack in other areas of your life. Who you are behind the scenes is who you are to the world. How you show up to yourself, how you show up for yourself is how you show up to the world. Is how you would show up in your business. If you half-ass something and you're like, yeah, no one will know about it, like I'm just letting down myself. How else are you going to half-ass stuff behind the scenes when no one's looking, right? This is where true self-confidence will come from. And I had this epiphany. I woke up with this. For some reason, I had a dream, and the thing that I woke up to is like this feeling of it's all about who I am to me. Who I am that only I see, aka who I am behind the scenes. That is impacting my confidence because I'm not perfect, you know what I mean? I'm working on stuff as well. And that hit me so predominantly when I woke up, and I was like, whoa, that is really significant to me, because I always think like put on your best face, your best self for the world. But really it all starts with who you are behind the scenes and who you are to yourself. And so recently I have started doing so many things, made promises to myself that I'm never going to slack. One of them is so very simple that I never did before is, when you let the washing up build up a little bit and then you do it all at once. I've started to, every single time, No matter if it's a singular spoon, I wash it up when I use it. And sometimes I'll find myself washing up so many times in a day, but it's made me realize how much like cutlery and crockery I actually use and how much I was just leaving in the sink beforehand. Like, we would still wash up every day, but now I wash up every single thing that I use, and no word of a lie, such a simple habit like this feels so good. So damn good. Like, knowing that I am the kind of person that shows up for myself like this is incredible, and it's helping me build my confidence, and I'm making more promises to myself now. Like, every single day, every single week, I'm trying to do something that's better for myself. And just after having that realization that, like, you are who you show to the world, who you are behind the scenes, like, that's been such a biggest shift in my confidence as well. Because if you're not confident in yourself, you're not going to be confident to the world. And when you have bad habits and you let things slip, you know who you are behind the scenes and you're not confident. You know that you're not the greatest person around, even if people think you are, and you show up like that. People can feel your energy. And then you're not the greatest person around, and you're not this person to the world, because they can all see straight through you, right? There was a study that's shown that actually authenticity is the highest vibration. They thought it was like love, gratitude. It's actually authenticity. So if you're authentically you, and you know who you are behind the scenes, and you can show up to the world like, yeah, I'm a badass, then that authentic vibration is going to be the highest vibration possible. And it's going to be the highest vibration to help you become magnetic, charismatic, and just completely like magnetic. I can't think of a better word of saying it, but you're just a magnetic person to everyone and everything. And that's who you become when you start showing up for yourself and you start like actually pouring into yourself, because you create your reality. That is it. You create your reality. Your identity, your self-concept creates your reality. So become the person who has the habits first, and the habits will create your reality. So going on to the next point here. We've already got so juicy already. So you are the average of the people that you surround yourself with. Let's put this pen back here. You are the average of the people around you. This is also very important if you're doing the shadow work, you're doing the inner work, the self-concept work, because everyone around you is a reflection of you. You only hang around with people because they make you feel comfortable in some way, or you see yourself in them. You get along with them. You have the same values as them. This is great for the old version of you, but for the new version of you that is like leveled up and has new values and new beliefs, you don't want to be hanging around with people that are keeping you in your old identity. So when you spend time with these people, you get stuck in their timeline. And I spoke about this in another video, but you get stuck in their reality. And when you're trying so hard and you're so passionate about your new timeline and your new reality, you don't want to get pulled into someone else's reality. Even if it's not negative, even if it's just a little bit different, but it's a distraction. And we do get influenced by other people. So if they want something and it's not aligned with you, you do begin to start to want that thing as well. If you see someone driving a car and you see it that much, you begin to like it because it's familiar and your brain gets used to it. So it begins to like that car. This is the same thing with things that they do, things that they say, their reality. You get comfortable, you get pulled into their timeline. That becomes familiar to you. That becomes okay to you. Even if it is something that's bad, you will become blind to it. And an example of this is, for instance, have you ever been with a friend and then they see their friends, and then their friends are now hanging around with you, but their friends are completely not aligned with you, and now you're stuck kind of hanging around with those people as well. And if you don't have the self-confidence and the boundaries to say, right, I'm going to leave now, like I don't want to be here anymore kind of thing, then you're then stuck hanging around with these people that are completely unaligned with you. And another example is, have you ever been around with someone else? And again, this might be more so when you're younger, but it's happened to me in recent years, and they've got in some kind of trouble whilst you're with them. Whether it's with an authority, whether it's with someone like their boyfriend or their parent, or I don't know, again, like their parents when you're younger and they're getting in trouble, and or they get in some sort of trouble, or they do something bad and you see that, and you're then pulled into that timeline, you're pulled into their frequency, into their vibration, and you're now involved in that bad thing. You wouldn't have experienced that bad situation or bad event if you weren't with them in the first place, which is why it's so important to make sure that your values and your boundaries align with your friends' boundaries, and then their actions will be more aligned with your actions. So you won't be pulled into someone else's timeline that isn't aligned with your timeline, that is on a lower frequency than your timeline, which is pulling you down. All of these things, you have to be so careful. And again, when you do the self-concept work, you will begin to realize more than ever. When you start doing your shadow work, you will begin to realize more than ever where people weren't aligned with you the whole time, but you just couldn't see it, and now they're certainly not aligned with you. And where their frequency has always been lower, they've always been projecting onto other people, including you, and you just were so blind to it. That's what you'll begin to see. So another example is people that complain all the time. This has again been a huge one for me. You'll find this often with, so again, friends, your partner and your family, right? You've known them for so long. So you kind of accept this behaviour from them because you've known them for so long. But all as you realise is that the only reason you're still being with them is because they know you, they know your entire family, they know your friends, they know everything about you, you've got all this history with them. And so because you've put in so much effort with them, you just have to keep them in your life, even though they're no longer aligned, even though they pull you down in every way. And if that's what you can see, that they're pulling you down, imagine all the ways that they actually are pulling you down that you don't realise, which we'll get into in a minute, because, you know, people actually hide your shadows. So we'll get into that in a minute. But you listen to their complaining, and their complaining is then impacting your beliefs. Their complaining is affirmations to your subconscious brain. And again, the more we listen to something, the more we begin to believe it. Our brain is permeable. Our neural pathways are always changing until the day we die. We know this. So why would we let someone else's words and negative beliefs become affirmations to our brain? I wouldn't purposely put on an affirmation track on YouTube with negative affirmations, would you? So why do we listen to it in other people? Why do we let them impact our timeline? Why do we let them impact our reality and our manifestations and our vibration, right? It is just down to the boundaries here. Like, how much do you value yourself? Because you is all you've got. You are the only person that you've got until the day you die. You are the person that creates your reality. So how are you letting other people create the reality for you? And how long do you think you're adding on to the time where you get to the end destination because of the people that you're seeing every day? And you're letting them impact your vibration, your frequency, your beliefs, right? So you listen to their limiting beliefs, right? They're going to then cause you to really see the world in a more negative perspective. As much as you try to block out words, you can't block out frequency. You can block out and say, yeah, I don't believe that about what you've said about that person, but you've already absorbed their vibes. You've already absorbed their frequency. So now you're on a slightly lower frequency and you begin to notice other negative things. See how this is impacting your reality now. the more you pay attention to those negative scenarios, the more they become abundant. This is how the people are affecting us. Another example is, for example, when someone's struggling with money and then you're like, you start feeling bad for them. They're complaining that they can't get something, or maybe their kids are being annoying, they can't find a babysitter, or you're listening to your partner complain about their friends or their parents. Like, you listen. Wait, I forgot where I was going with this. Oh yeah, for example, yeah, like they're struggling with money. There's been so many people that complain about money, or they're complaining about their boss, for example. So another one here is that they project onto you their negative thought patterns. And so you need to ask yourself, why don't I have the boundaries in place to protect this from happening? Where in them can I see myself? And therefore I'm keeping them around. Where do they make me feel comfortable? You'll often find that you listen and you spend time with someone because they somewhat resonate with you, because you feel comfortable around them, because they share the same values as you, and therefore they're hiding your shadows. You don't see where you're lacking. You don't see where you're speaking negatively because you spend time with people that are like you. This is why everyone says that everyone is you pushed out. So when you start shifting into the person who doesn't settle for less and do the shadow work on why you settled for less beforehand, you will begin to then see where people beforehand were actually aligned with you, and you were thinking, why are they in my life? Like, why are they doing this and speaking about this? But you'll realize that the whole entire time they was a reflection of you. They speak badly about their partner and you speak badly about your parents. You think, why are they so ungrateful about their partner? Like, my partner's great. Maybe if they just treated them better, then they would be fine. But you're sat there complaining about your parents, your mum, your dad, to them. That is where they were hiding the shadows in you before. Or, again, to do with money, you complained about money areas, and then they're sat there thinking, well, they earn more money than me. Like, you're a complete mirror to each other. You complain about the same things, and that's just complaining. Another way is obviously boundaries. You let people walk all over you. You're like a people pleaser. You walk in the room and worry about what people are thinking of you rather of what you think of them. And they're the same. So when you go out together, you both are super introverted and you're like purposely going to these places together where you think it's quiet. You purposely don't meet new friends, so you're all you have for each other. They're completely covering your shadows. They're showing you, like, they're not showing you where you need to develop because you feel comfortable with them. And now imagine you're with someone that completely uplifts you. So think about it like this, right? Imagine you have a friend that you can come up to and tell them that you've just earned your first £10,000 month, that your business is blowing up, and their reaction, think about your friend's reaction that you've got in mind right now, or your family member, whoever's reaction, your partner's reaction. What would their reaction be like right now? Now imagine someone, a different version of them, that reacts and they're like, oh my God, that is insane. Congratulations. Let's go on holiday. Let's go out. Let's celebrate. I'm so proud of you. You're an inspiration. And now they're inspired to like grow their business as well. Imagine you have that person in your life for you. If you don't already have that person, you're spending time with the wrong people. And I must admit, I'm still trying to find that person in my life right now because I do want to meet new people. And yeah, I don't hang around with a lot of people I used to hang around with either, because I realized this year that they're so unaligned with me. So I'm going through this phase myself of even just really being particular of who I spend time with. It's mainly just my partner, Aaron. like one close friend and then like my immediate family. So I hope this video helped you. I think my camera is going to turn off in a second. So if you want to help doing the inner work and doing the shadow work, the Passive Princess package is going to be down below for coaching and everything else in between. So if you do want that help, I'll see you in there. But for now, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!